Ultrakill, as you know, is a game about expression. The extensive amount of combos in the game and different choices for defeating enemies creates a game that makes sure no one player's strategy is the same as another. There's also other stuff like customizing certain settings and weapon skins, but it's mainly about the gameplay. However, out of all the ways you can differentiate yourself in Ultrakill, there's one certain choice that's often looked down upon, one that I've taken as my preferred playstyle. That's right, I'm the guy that still uses the default piercer at higher level Ultrakill. At least, I think top 500 in Cybergrind is high level. I've gotten countless comments about this, so it's time to address my questionable choices in weaponry. But first, let's understand how these two guns are different and why I use a seemingly inferior option. I mean, if anything, the default piercer is overpowered. You know, it has infinite ammo. Haven't you guys watched Under Mayo's videos on Ultrakill? Nah, I'm joking. Whatever, let's pull up the stats. The default piercer is a standard hit scan weapon that does 1 damage at a delay of 0.49 seconds before it can fire again. It also has the main property of doing locational damage, meaning limb shots will deal 1.5 times the damage, and headshots will deal twice the damage. This also applies to the alternate fire, which fires 3 shots at once to potentially pierce through targets with low enough health to hit 3 at once. However, the charge shot has a 2.5 second cooldown, meaning you can't just use it all the time. The slab piercer, on the other hand, has a slightly higher base damage of 1.25 damage, is a fire rate of 1 shot every 1.31 seconds, but also multi-hits for every attack. The primary fire hits twice, and the piercing shot hits 4 times before going through a target for 2 more hits. Don't ask me why it works like that. I'm not Hakita. I'm not drunk either. The charge shot also recharges slower, taking 5 seconds to recharge instead of 2.5. One more thing to note is that the cooldown for the slab revolvers cannot be bypassed by switching, unlike a lot of the other ones in the game. So that's something to consider. There are also some shared stats of the revolvers, like being able to target certain points for an insta-kill, or the fact that they both deal electric damage, but that doesn't really matter to this discussion. Now we've covered both weapons, we're going to look at why the slab revolver is so heavily favored among the community. The main reason for the slab's dominance is how much burst damage is favored in Ultrakill. Swapping to another weapon cancels a usual recovery time of a weapon to replace with a much faster deploy time, meaning that quickly switching between high damage weapons is often the most reliable way to kill enemies. This goes perfectly to slab revolver's high damage, whether you want to go for a quicker kill with the primary fire or want to full send with damage with the beam. This higher damage also allows for some better combos, like this one on the malicious face, which is especially useful thanks to how crucial it is to kill them for high style points, potentially wiping out groups of enemies. Smaller enemies will also fall faster, as you now have a 2.5 damage hit scan to quickly kill a fodder enemy at a distance. Except for one specific one, but we'll get to that later. This also synergizes with the coins, as higher charge shot damage means higher coin damage, making the slab revolver become another rail cannon. This works especially well against enemies like Virtues and Mind Flayers, as you can one-shot the front with only a single coin, and it can heavily damage the latter with 4 coins. It's a costly commitment, but considering how dangerous they are, it's well worth it most of the time. There are probably more interactions I missed, but you get the point, this thing is strong. So, what makes you like the regular version better? The first main reason is simple: charge speed. One major disadvantage that the slab revolver has over the default one is the downtime between charge shots. Not only does the primary fire take a long time to recover from, but this recovery window can't be cancelled like nearly every other weapon in the game. This is doubly so for a charge fire, which takes what feels like ages to finally ready up for another shot. With the default revolver, however, the charge time is fast, meaning you'll almost always have one ready when you need it. This is especially useful with coins, as while they may not do that much damage, you're going to get a lot more of them in a smaller time window. Just throw a coin, charge your shot, and fire and forget. Additionally, this also makes you much more effective at long range now that your main damage option is much more consistent, and the charge shot can be easily much more implemented into combos, as once you're done, you'll probably have another one ready. One may argue that you can just simply projectile boost for similar damage, but that's not too consistent, as numerous enemies are simply immune to explosives. Not to mention, you're forfeiting the opportunity to parry something. However, those would still decide that the slab is a better choice because it does more damage. If you're a scrub that can't hit headshots, that is. Oh! One major disadvantage that the slab revolver has over its default counterpart is that it sacrifices locational damage. Sure, the style meter still indicates your precise shots, however you completely miss out on the damage multipliers. This means that not only are you getting more charge shots on the default piercer, but you can do more damage with those individual shots. But not every enemy in Ultrakill has a head, so let's go over certain cases where the piercer trumps the slab revolver. First and foremost, Cerberus and sword machines are both common obstacles in Ultrakill that have periods where they stand still, making it so you have actually tried to not go for the head. Sure, there's technically some methods to one-shot them, but they require valuable resources to be best used elsewhere. The next enemy we're going to cover is the mannequins, which are often pretty tanky and hard to kill for their size. Unless, of course, you instantly killed it with a charge shot headshot, but note this requires skill to pull off, something alien to the average meta sheep. Sentries are another example of enemies that don't fall to headshots, as not only do you do a lot of damage, but you also interrupt their charge. But this doesn't matter too much, as most of the time I just go for chargebacks. However, there are three big enemies that the headshot multiplier really comes in handy against: Ferrymen, Mind Flayers, and Guttermen. Ferrymen often stand still for a bit and have a lot of health, meaning that a quick 6 damage is often a good option when going up against them, as standing back for a bit is a good strategy to bait on an attack that you can parry. Mind Flayers are easily the most dangerous enemy in the game. If you miss your insta-kill, you'll often need a fallback plan. And what better way to deal with a flying enemy that stands still periodically than a weapon that can exploit its weakness? Or you can just go for another insta-kill attempt, whatever floats your boat. The final enemy that the Piercer preys on is the Gutterman, who not only has a massive head, but is also a high priority turret that causes a lot more damage on death. While the Malicious Face crushes anything below its corpse, and the Mind Flayer explodes in a foolish preference of general identity above life, I'm not kidding, look at the terminal entry. The Gutter tank does both, and the explosion doesn't even hurt you. Not only that, but you want to kill this thing faster simply because it fires constant hits again, which makes sure explosives are a bad idea and rocket riding is out of the question. With these two factors, killing a Gutterman as fast as possible is ideal, and the standard piercer allows you to speedrun its funeral. My preferred way to kill is to start with a double pump shotgun and knuckle blaster, go for a headshot into stagger, shotgun parry to refill, and use basically anything to finish it off. Works like a charm. Granted, there are plenty of other enemies that would benefit from having a slab revolver on hand, like Malicious Faces and Virtues, but I'd say the benefits of headshots is usually more worth it in the end. However, the biggest reason why I use the Piercer revolver isn't one of those objectively good quotes, but rather the more subjective reason of it just feeling right. With how I play Ultrakill, generally the faster charge time is a better fit rather than the slow and powerful shot at the slab. My playstyle uses a ton of rocket riding, and usually during that period is a good time to start charging up an attack, like say, the Piercer. You're also usually going to be outside of a lot of your weapon's effective ranges after flying away with rockets, which once again favors consistent long-range damage. And all this hang time allows for a lot of charge coin, which once again favors a faster charge time. Never need to notice in general case where the slab will be a lot more beneficial to me, or simply made irrelevant due to another playstyle choice. I don't use a slab to finish off Malicious Faces because I switched to another shotgun. I don't use the 4 coin as I call in my press, but I use the overpump at correct times instead. And I'm more than comfortable using nukes to clear out a single virtue and then picking off the rest with nails and shotguns. Is that to say that there wouldn't be cases that a slab revolver would benefit me more? Of course not. Sometimes I do wish I just had a stronger shot when I miss a headshot or I'm fighting an enemy that doesn't have a head. It would be neat to have a more reliable option to kill a Mind Flayer. But when I switch over to the slab, I just find that something feels off. It's not as reliable. I keep getting into situations where I slap on cooldown, I just keep missing the reliability of the default piercer. So there you have it. That's the reason I use the less favored primary weapon in Ultrakill. But why did I make this video? It's simple really. The community is kinda, I don't know, obnoxious. The Ultrakill fan is one of the best and worst out there. On one hand, you've got talented animators and artists making a ton of cool stuff, and a lot of great gameplay videos and detailed tutorials. On the other hand, you have people whose entire humor was downloaded straight from VivziePop, and people who refuse to accept that someone might have a different playstyle preference to them. When I made my video breaking down an early P2 Pyrrhic, which I still have no clue how this is my most popular video to this day, a ton of the comments were dedicated to asking me why I wasn't using the current meta of Slap Piercer and Saw Blades. The Saw Blade comments were mostly just suggestions, however the Piercer was just straight up getting clowned on. And you know what? I can't blame these people. The slap meta is so omnipresent that doing anything else is basically playing the game in a completely different way, and the stats of the normal revolver aren't covered, so naturally the cycle keeps going on. So what am I trying to say here is, don't get caught up in what's the meta, try out some new strategies with new weapons, and please don't try to play this how someone plays the game literally about player expression. Thanks for watching, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.